Let me ask you something. Think about the last time you got a new phone. What happened to the old one? Is it just sitting in a drawer somewhere gathering dust? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. Today we're going to dive into this massive, growing problem of what we call electronic waste, and more importantly, what we can all actually do about it. You know the feeling, right? We all love getting that shiny new gadget, but the second you unbox it, the old one instantly becomes this hot potato. You don't want it, but you have no idea what to do with it, so it just sits there. We're going to talk about how to handle that hot potato so it doesn't end up burning all of us. Okay, so what exactly is e-waste? Well, just take a second and picture your own home. That old phone in the junk drawer, that's e-waste. That tangled mess of chargers and random cables you keep for some reason? Yep, e-waste. And that ancient, super heavy TV you've been meaning to get rid of for years? You guessed it. And here's the crazy part. This isn't just any old trash. It is the single fastest growing type of waste on the entire planet. To really get what we're up against, we need to look at the numbers. And honestly, they're pretty staggering. We're not just talking about a little trickle of old gadgets here. We are talking about an absolute tsunami. So get this. In 2022 alone, the world generated 62 billion kilograms of e-waste. I mean, that's a number so big it's almost impossible to picture. So let's try this. Imagine a line of garbage trucks full of e-waste long enough to circle the entire Earth. That's what we're dealing with, and it's getting worse. By 2030, that number is expected to jump to 82 billion kilograms a year. It's just mind-blowing. All right, let's bring it back home, right here to Nepal. Back in 2019, we produced 28,000 tons of e-waste, and that number is climbing by about 7% every single year. So you see, this isn't some far-off problem happening somewhere else. It is happening right here, right now, in our own backyard. Again, 28,000 tons is just a number, right? It's hard to really wrap your head around. But what if we could visualize it? What if we could paint a picture of that weight that would really, truly stick with you?
Imagine that. 7,000 adult elephants. That is the sheer weight of electronics that we in Nepal are throwing away in a single year. When you see it like that, you just have to ask yourself, are we okay with this? Because I don't think we are.
Now this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because e-waste isn't just garbage. It's got this kind of Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. On one hand, it's a literal treasure trove. But on the other, it's a Pandora's box of really dangerous stuff. Let's start with the treasure. Our old gadgets are packed with valuable metals. We're talking gold, silver, copper. In fact, the raw materials just locked inside the e-waste that was tossed out in 2022 were worth an incredible $91 billion. But here's the danger. Those same devices are also filled with toxic junk like lead and mercury. And if they're not handled the right way, those toxins can leak into our soil and our water, causing huge problems. Let's talk about lead for a second. A single one of those old, bulky tube TVs or computer monitors can contain up to 4 pounds of lead. When that lead gets into our environment, it's especially dangerous for kids. It can silently harm brain development and lead to lifelong learning issues. It's a poison we can't see, but its effects are absolutely devastating. And then there's mercury. You find it in things like flat-screen TVs and those curly CFL light bulbs. The real danger kicks in when they break. A shattered screen or a broken bulb releases this invisible toxic mercury vapor, and breathing that in can do serious damage to your brain, your nervous system, and your lungs. And of course, batteries. We use them in everything. When they're just thrown away, they can leak acid and contaminate the groundwater that we drink. And the powerful lithium-ion batteries in our phones and laptops? Whoa, those are a whole other level of dangerous. If they get crushed or punctured, say, in the back of a garbage truck, they can literally explode and start major fires. So, when we get rid of our old electronics, we're basically standing at a fork in the road. There are two very, very different paths this e-waste can take, and the choice between them has massive consequences for all of us. Path 1, well, this is the informal, unregulated method. It's the scary path. You see people just burning piles of wires out in the open to get the copper inside, sending these thick black clouds of toxic smoke into the air. Old battery acid? It just gets poured right down the drain. It's fast, it's dirty, and it is incredibly dangerous for the workers and everyone living nearby. But then, there's path 2, the smart way, the scientific way. This is what professional recyclers, like our friends at Doko, do. Instead of smashing bulbs, they use a machine called a bulb beater that safely vacuums up all that toxic mercury gas. Instead of burning wires, they use a wire stricker that cleanly pulls the copper out. And most importantly, the workers are fully protected with safety gear. This is the safe, clean, responsible way forward. This all leads to a really important idea.
Managing e-waste isn't someone else's job. It is our shared responsibility. And it means we need a whole new way of thinking, a powerful concept called a circular economy.
So what on earth is a circular economy? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Instead of our old model, take, make, and throw away, the goal is to create a circle, a loop. We design things to last. We focus on reusing, repairing, and then finally recycling everything. We want a system where waste is basically designed out of the picture from the very beginning. And a huge piece of making this work is something called the repair revolution. It's this simple, powerful idea that our first thought shouldn't be to just toss something and buy a new one. I mean, think about it. If your phone screen cracks, is your first instinct to buy a whole new phone? The repair revolution says, hey, wait a minute, let's try fixing it first. It saves money, and it keeps another device out of that giant pile of e-waste.
So what can you do? It's actually easier than you think. First, just start by gathering up the e-waste in your own home. Maybe even organize a little collection drive in your neighborhood. Second, join that repair culture. Before you automatically click Buy Now, just ask, can this be fixed? And third, use your voice. Let companies know you want them to be responsible for their products from beginning till end.
Look, this challenge is way too big for any one person to solve. It's going to take all of us working together to build a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable Nepal. But every big journey starts with one small decision, to take that first step. So what about that hot potato we talked about at the beginning? The one sitting in your drawer? Are you going to let it become part of that 7,000 elephant problem? Or are you ready to pass it to someone who knows exactly how to handle it safely and responsibly? The choice is yours. Let's make the right one.